As of March of 2022, Impera is the newest release by Ghost. Our favorite band of Swedish origin, sorry Sabaton, that ventured into doom, alternative, psychedelic and heavy metal and rock as well, finally delivered a long-awaited fifth album full of controversial criticism and auto-ironic satanism, venturing into both well-tried and previously uncharted territories alike. At listed price of $15 for audio CD, release is also available in a variety of exclusive vinyls and streaming services. The review is based on CD, bought at places that have not paid for promotion in this material. For the exhaustive experience, I've had an opportunity to compare every edition due to courtesy of acquaintanced Ghost appreciator. So, thanks Bart, and let's get along with it and hope you'll enjoy. Introduction: Imperium. Cool setup in form of an instrumental that invites the listener to the album, carried by a classical guitar which theme riff is slowly being built upon. On its own, it serves as an invitation to the story that is about to unfold. From a retrospective of mine, that short yet impactful piece is a perfect teaser of what is about to come. What's about to come? Kaisarion. Well, I did not expect that. Not the choir, I mean, Ghosts have used female voices in the past, but the cheerful tone. It settles quickly in its place, slowly rising to Hypatia's in the refrain. Whilst not being personally fond of the piece, I surely can understand that empire-raising energy appealing to the listener. I would dare to call the Kaisarion the most pop out of the tracklist, even if radio stations would rather opt out of picking it for the afternoon's tune. That is by no means a criticism, as well-built structure makes for an upbeat song in both melody and lyrics, figuratively building say the Imperium to experience. Next to never-ending optimism of lyrical subject, a German Kaiser perhaps, I feel ever so slight sting of naivety in their hope of crafting a thousand-year force, already showing signs of corruption in its cruelty and double standards. Ghost's usual criticism of religion also shows up eerily in the aforementioned chant that accompanies the listener every refrain, but will be skipping over the already extensive elaboration on entrance etude. It's not really an etude, I just wanted more E-words in there. So let me emphasize, it is not a bad piece by any means, but let's already get to the better one. The better one. Spillways. Yeah, it's good. It's such a ride that makes you feel alive. As upbeat as predecessor, the melodic line saw some seeds of second thoughts being had, making for a more elaborate experience both for ESL listeners and people who actually like to read into what that funky, no, it's not funk, but gets us happy, piece actually is about. Yeah, it's about losing it. With something darker inside of our spirit, overflowing, that we need to let out in a controlled manner. Through the spillways of our soul. Yeah, while lyrically simple, it nails every single verse, bringing out the maximum out of its form in a manner I believe artists like Sting would approve. And look how joyful it feels to let those tainted parts out in one of the catchiest refrains I've heard in a while. What a pleasurable experience, and we are not even hitting the album sellers yet. Those are the songs that single-handedly sell albums, like Ace of Spades for Motor Death, etc. But we're getting there. Slowly but steadily. Call me when we get there. Call me Little Sunshine. There is a comma in the title, by the way. I imagine you want to hear that out, so you'll possibly select a track, playing it, and yeah. It's a damn roller, crawling through first verses to the pre-chorus where it hits you. Slowly flowing onwards, getting rougher the closer it gets to the calling, like a night mistress, promising that eternal safety, closeness, intimacy even. Feels like a lover man you want to promise your soul to. While lyrics in their volume get as complicated as last time, what instruments manage to pull out hits the polar opposite. The first time I heard the piece, I was genuinely uneasy, but in a good way. It is a similar emotion one could feel towards the guardian and friend, but simultaneously a shady person that has more to them than it would seem. That made in heaven match of music and its message elevates it to a record seller, which only drawback is its early reveal in form of a single, where it had to compete with The Killer. The Killer, Hunter's Movie. First track ever released from the record in form of a single with also endearing music video. Love at the first sight, banger at the first hear that steals my soul with unworldly theme. Quick introductory riff that reappears later playing on consistent verses of the rest only to rise for the chorus, and other smartly pulled tricks like a vocal modulation or a single verse refrains only reaffirm my conviction in both geniusly thought out design and quality of mastering for the entire record. I personally tend to strive away from solos, but here it fits just so well and hits the bridge right where it would start to drag. That truly killer hook though.
It's a hunter's move!
Holy shit! It always makes me close the potentiometer scale with disregard to my hearing, and assuming it will make you as well is a very safe bet. Everything clicked in that one record seller after the another. That haunting melody, that actual fade during last fading verse, that chant reminiscent of Zenith, that silent violence of sound striking the imagination in theme, that B-class slasher death making for an apotheosis of primal fear for victims, no, for prey's life. Fantastic piece. An honorable successor to Square Hammer, and a work of art that just cannot be overthrown. Did not overthrow. Watcher in the Sky. Even though promising in its roots and catchy as hell in just 2 riffs making for an entire song, it is far more directed than previous pieces. Listening to the percussion here without some dBs should be considered a cardinal sin, and it will be the reason for people to attend live performances. Incredible rhythm, well-made melody and chantable lyrics don't make up, however, for the absolute drag of the ending. Not without a reason, a vinyl release is a whole minute shorter, what makes me wonder who approved such a slaughter to otherwise just fine piece. Really though, it's possibly a single questionable decision regarding the mix of the entire master. Whatever. Watcher in the Sky slightly overstays its welcome as is, but remains a welcome addition nonetheless. Interlude. Dominion. Dominion is an interlude. That means it is placed in between of 2 other things and term refers to arts in general, so music fits here too. Back in the day of analog storages, that would be a good time to switch sides of cassette tape or turn a vinyl over. As a piece of trivia, hey, it actually is the first piece on second part of Impera's vinyl release, so it kinda serves its function. Yeah. I like that piano. It's a very nice piano. It's way heavier than the first intro. Gee, I wonder whether that is an indicator to something. Impressive. Very nice. Let's see other side of Impera. I sure hope I won't be disappointed. Guess what? 20s. 20s is an interesting twist to the Ghost's formula, and its intro says it like no other thing. And that thing is... it's different, and in neither a good or a bad way. My local ghost specialist, music listener and a good pal stated similarity to Scars on a Broadway band, and I'll admit it is somewhat noticeable. I'd argue that some residual rap, hard or some other core also left its scent on the song. Music is interesting, catchy even, if not to an extent of previous pieces, and that is not even delving into FXs like Breaking Glass. Very avant-garde piece even for a band known for its eccentric image seems to simultaneously elaborate on 20s, of both current and past century. Whilst references to the Reich and their promise of profit is quite straightforward, subtlety of the second verse make it quite a hassle to even speak about. Then there is also that piece of Destruction Brings Creation thought, in which empire is made from the blood spilled by an old one, akin to the image of French Revolution perhaps. An overall, aggressive theme of personal and the national greed underlying the worldwide conflicts portrayed by the propaganda-like voices does its job in appealing to presumably simple folk by heavy slang usage. Being frank, I had mixed feelings while listening to the piece for the first time as the third promoting single, and I still have those feelings mixed, though my reception warmed a bit since that time. Maybe it needed to grow on me, or maybe absolutely hilarious Moolah just has its undeniable charm. I'd say that's kind of the point here, that by a little merry detail, I am sold on quite a grim idea. Guess that only states piece's quality then, but I am not legally obligated to like it nonetheless. But I haven't said I dislike it either. Sorry, our relationship with 20s, it's complicated. Complicated. Darkness at the Heart of My Love. It's quite a long title for a third record seller, and I'll be damned, how hard can those guys hit? That soft beginning makes it impossible to prepare for chorus, and oh my lord, it is an art in purest, touching, sad yet optimistic, striking with melancholy form. That purity is what previous piece centered around closeness lacked, and sincerity in lyrics coming from a real regret of the narrator. Simple and relatable in how imperfect one's love can be, with pragmacity staining the heart's volition. In its resonance of similar subtlety, few words make justice to the music's
There's a darkness at the heart of my love that runs cold, runs deep.
beauty. Just beauty. As it fades away, leaving me as empty in cathartic state, there comes a hollow feeling, impact of which I can't imagine were that piece at the end of the album. Hopefully it isn't. Thankfully, it was not. Griftwood. Alright, we're back on track with that riff which helps us to ascend from the dark place, the darkness at the bottom of my heart left us in. In adoration of that piece, my review will be even less objective than it usually would be. Level with me. That thing fucking rocks, baby. Soaring from the darkest pit like an angel promises so much hope and ease. Yes, I want to never ever suffer again. Yes, I want to sit by the pyre. I want a view from the spire. I want to play with desire. Do not quote me on the last part out of context. And I feel I can, with such a support. It might be a lie, a ploy, a manipulation. Listen, I don't fucking care. That's a joy incarnate, a reward for suffering I was promised long ago, and now I am finally taking it. Were I not a naive fool, maybe I'd pay an attention to a metaphorical false note that I breathed just before the solo indicates, a drop of secret implying lyrics more than meets the eye. It's a good spot to mention how consistent Impera is in its quality. All those extremely good songs are being rated higher or lower only because they are being compared to their own tracklist that would have at least few 9s and 10s out of 10s. Best of those tracks have a particular way of being both subtle and powerful in perfect proportion. And I am pleased to say the Griftwood would deserve such ratings if only sticking a number to a piece of art would be a valid way to describe it. An interlude, Bite of Passage. Shortest instrumental that seems out of place, and too quickly to elaborate on few notes that make up for it, but there are two things that should be considered before we proceed. First, those few notes are good, not only at what they are meant to do. Second, trust me on what I am about to say. If Records Wrap, the final piece, consummation of an experience and capstone of Ghost's greatest project so far, gets its own, third on the tracklist intro, it's going down. Buckle up, people. Respite on the Spital Fields. Unsurprisingly, the last story picks up when the Bite of Passage left us, starting with strong melodical line full of uncertainty, quickly accompanied by words confirming our place. The aftermath. Picking up the remains and reminiscing on the past glory, rises up to the chorus with renewed energy and hope. Allow me to break the flow here to show you the following sketch me and my fellow Ghost enjoyer have came up with. As you can see, we were positive that Papa Emeritus IV won't be able to keep the incomprehensibly high quality until the very end. We were dead ass wrong. That refrain is not cool. Not just cool. It's amazing, beautiful, and breathtaking as well. The false hope from Griftwood, too good to be true, here lands for real, as previously did Love in Darkness in Bottomley. It's a bittersweet goodbye, promising comeback as the octave rises with even more strength. As their values and beliefs fell dismantled, the protagonists fade into the dark, finally independent from the fallen empire. And there it follows after them. The theme that listeners slowly recognizes as the framing narration brings to the mind an identical sound, which used to indicate a power arising from an ambition, blood and shattered dreams. An imperium, perhaps. Conclusively, such an album of not only extreme consistency but also emotionally touching and mastered with utmost precision is represented by the best, in my honest opinion, cover art made by Zbigniew M. Bielak, that only Melioras One, by the same artist by the way, could only ever compete with. Tobias Forge's incredible voice under the alias of Papa Emeritus IV once again tells a story that in studio-grade equipment will make for a distinctively different experience in comparison to casual setups, allowing for appreciation of different fragments of a wonderful entirety. For sure, the release theme tour will make up for a third way to approach that incredible work of true art, stated time and time again here. Meteoric rise of the band is at its lifetime best after mixed reception of Prequel, where good pieces were very good indeed, but bad ones held it back. Impera does not repeat that mistake, not pulling a single blow, even in its downtime. My discourse with Certified Ghost Connoisseur made me convinced that our view on an album, while similar in overall, varied noticeably as to finicky details. And that's a good thing. To agree somewhat objectively on quality of the release that remains diverse enough to pick favorites in a sea of excellence. So Fair Fry, ask me whether the Impera is worth its price. We should answer as one as to Evil Pope's question.
Are you